Hello everyone, answer Don. Good day. So for today's video I'm going to discuss the 24 rules of grammar. So without further ado, let's start with the rule number 1. Two singular subjects connected by or nor require a singular verb. So here are the two examples. Example number 1. My aunt or my uncle is visiting the cattle farm today. So there are two singular subjects in the sentence. My aunt and my uncle. It is connected by or, so it requires a singular verb. That's why the verb is singular. So let's move on to the next example. Martha or Lazarus cultivates the lands for a proposed crop production. So it is connected by or. So that's why the verb is singular. Rule number 2. Two singular subjects connected by either or neither nor require a singular verb as in rule number 1. So for example, neither poultry nor swine production is preferred by the close-fisted farmer. So the two singular subjects are poultry and swine production. And the singular verb is preferred. Okay, next example. Either afforestation or reforestation promotes the conservation of Mother Nature. So the two singular subjects are afforestation and reforestation. The singular verb is promotes. Rule number 3. When I is one of the two subjects connected by either or neither nor, put it second and follow it with a singular verb and with the base form of the verb. For example, neither she nor I am studying agriculture. So the subjects or the two singular subjects are she and I, and this is followed by the singular verb am. Next, either Judah or I am joining the forestry organization. So the two singular subjects are Judah and I, and followed by the singular verb am. Rule number 4. When a singular subject is connected by or nor to a plural subject, put the plural subject last and use a plural verb. So for example, the principal nor the teachers join the symposium about green piggery. So the singular subject is principal, connected by nor to a plural subject, which is the teachers, and the plural verb or followed by the plural verb, which is join. Rule number 5. When a singular and plural subject are connected by either or neither nor, put the plural subject last and use a plural verb. Example, neither the volunteer nor the social workers are prepared for the community outreach. So the singular and plural subject are there in the sentence are volunteer and social workers. Volunteer is singular subject and the social workers is plural subject and the verb is plural. Rule number 6. As a general rule, use a plural verb with two or more different subjects when they are connected by and to show two different subjects in a sentence. Each subject is usually introduced by an article or a possessive pronoun. So for example, flora and fauna play an all significant role to human beings. So the plural subjects are flora and fauna, followed by the plural verb which is play. Example number 2. Global warming and climate change enkindle the people to change. So the plural subjects are global warming and climate change, followed by the plural verb which is enkindle. Rule number 7. Subjects joined by and mean a single idea take a singular verb. So for example, my sister and confidant shows great support in my endeavor as a future agriculturist. So the subjects are there in a sentence are my sister and confidant. But it means a single idea. So the verb is singular. Rule number 8. If the subject and the verb in a sentence are interrupted with an intervening phrase introduced by including, along with, together with, as well as, besides, etc., the verb must still agree with the simple subject. So for example, tree planting as well as tree parenting embraces the act of environmental protection. So the subject and the verb in a sentence, which are the subject is tree planting and the verb is embraces, are interrupted with an intervening phrase by as well as. Rule number 9. Indefinite pronouns like each, everyone, everybody, someone, somebody, anyone, anybody, nobody, no one, something, either, neither, not one, and everything are singular and require singular verbs. Do not be misled by what follows up. For example, everyone in the class is very conversant about in vitro fertilization or IVF. So the indefinite pronouns in the sentence is everyone. And the verbs require singulars. Okay, so next example is someone in this class is a product of cloning. So the indefinite pronouns of this sentence is someone. So the verb is. Rule number 10. With words that indicate portions, percent, fraction, part, majority, some, half, all, none, remainder, and so forth, look at the noun in your phrase. To determine whether to use a singular or plural verb, if the object of the proposition is singular, use a singular verb, and if a plural, use a plural verb. So for example, 1/3 of the city joins the greening project of the DNR. So second example, all of the speakers were asked to talk about the effects of illegal logging to humanity. So the object of the proposition in example number 1 is singular. So the verb is also singular. Example number 2, the object of the preposition is plural. So the verb is also plural. Rule number 11. When either and neither are subjects without or and nor, a singular verb is required even if they seem to be referring to more than one thing. So for example, neither of them knows about the latest agricultural issues and concerns. So the subject is neither, so the verb should be singular. So as I observed in example number 1, the verb is singular. So example number 2, either for us is capable of doing embryo transfer. So the subject is either. The verb is also singular, just like example number 1. Rule number 12. The words here and there have generally been labeled as adverbs even though they indicate place. Sentences beginning with here or there require verbs depending on the number of the nouns that come after them. So for example, here come the horticulturist Drew and Jane. So the adverb that is used is here. So the noun are Drew and Jane, which is plural. So the verb is plural also. Rule number 13. Units such as amounts, size, time, quantities, or distances always require a singular verb. So for example number 1, 15 pesos is a small amount for a kilo of sweet corn. Second example, 4 school years is what we need to finish our BSA or BSF degree. So as I observe, the verbs of the two example sentences are singular. Number 14. Sometimes the relative pronoun who, that, or which is the subject of a verb in the middle of the sentence. The pronouns who, that, and which become singular or plural according to the noun directly in front of them. So if that noun is singular, use a singular verb. If it is plural, use a plural verb. For example number 1, patron is the agriculturist who writes the rationale of the thesis. Example number 2, he is one of the panelists who were invented to the critic our oral defense. So as I observe, the noun is singular, so the verb also in the two example are also singular. Rule number 15. Collective nouns like team, staff, group, family, crowd, army, etc. require a singular verb if the members are thought of as acting collectively, and plural if the members are thought of as acting separately. So here are the two examples. So example number 1, the staff is in the meeting for the fast approaching inauguration. So the second example, the staff members are in the disagreement about the field day schedule. So as I observe the example number 1, the staff is the collective noun. So it is acting collectively. So the verb is singular. While the example number 2, the staff is the collective noun, but it is acting separately. So the verb is plural. Rule number 16. The expression a number of always requires a plural verb, while the expression the number of always requires a singular verb when used as subject. So here are the two examples. Example number 1. A number of barristers are planning to file a complaint. So as I observed, the expression that is used is a number of. When we say a number of, it requires a plural verb. So the verb of this sentence is plural. So let's proceed to example number 2. The number of qualified applicants for the agricultural job fair has decreased. So the expression that is used is the number of. So when we say it is the number of, it always requires a singular verb. So that's why the example number 2 has a singular verb. Rule number 17. Nouns that always come in pairs like seashores, sunglasses, shoes, tongs, sleeves, trousers, pliers, plants, shears, etc. are always plural and require plural verbs unless they are introduced by the expression the pair of. So example number 1, the tongs I bought are usually used in our chemistry subject. So the noun that is used is tongs. So it is plural. So it requires a plural verb. So that's why the verb of this sentence is plural. So the example number 2, the pair of tongs I bought is very pricey. So the example number 2 is different from example number 1, though it is also a noun, but the is introduced by the expression which is the pair. So it is singular. The verb is singular. Rule number 18. Nouns, plural in form but singular in meaning, such as mathematics, economics, news, politics, etc., require singular verbs. So here are the two examples. Example number 1, the news about him is not good for his image as an ecological advocate. So the noun in the sentence that is used is news. It is plural in form but singular in meaning. So it requires a singular verb. So the verb is singular in example number 1. So let's proceed to example number 2. Mathematics is my favorite subject. So just like the example number 1, it is plural in form but singular in meaning. So mathematics is plural in form but singular in meaning. So the verb is also singular. Rule number 19. In the sentences with both positive and negative subjects, the verb should agree with the positive subject. So here are the two examples. Example number 1, it is the law enforcer, not the laws, that needs to be changed. Example number 2, it is not the farm manager, but the technicians who want additional budget. So, the two examples have positive and negative subjects. So, as I observe, the verb also is positive. So, rule number 20. Titles of books, movies, songs, etc. require a singular verb. For example, here are the two examples. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the first Disney movie. Example number 2, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet has really made history. So, in example number 1, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the title of the movie. So, that's why the verb is singular. In the second example, Romeo and Juliet, it is also a title of books and also a movie. So, that's why the verb is singular. Rule number 21. The pronouns you and I always require the base plural form of the verb, even in cases where they refer to only one person. So, for example, here are the three examples. Example number 1, Leslie, you have to submit your project proposal on time or else you will fail. Example number 2, I need more time to accomplish the task. So, in example number 1, you is the pronoun, but Leslie is only one. So, the verb is plural, even in cases where you refer to only one person. So, example number 2, the pronoun that is used is I, and the verb is plural because it requires the base plural form of the verb even in a case where they refer to only one person. Number 22. Adjectives used as nouns are considered plural and thus require plural verbs. Here are the two examples. So example number 1, the learned are men of wisdom and principle. The second example, the hardworking reap the produce of their endeavor. So, as I observe in the two examples, the adjectives are used as noun. So, it is considered plural. And that's why the verb is plural. Rule number 23. The name of a firm or company, although appearing plural, requires a singular verb. Examples. Example number 1, Universal Studios is showing the movie Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest next month. The second example, Renola Brothers is a law firm that advocates the protection of virgin forests. So, as I observe, the name of a firm company appearing plural. So, that's why the verbs of these two examples are singular because according to the rule, the name of a firm company, although appearing, requires a singular verb. The last but not the least, rule number 24. For sentences following the inverted order, the verb still agrees with the subject regardless of the number of the nouns that come before it. So here are the two examples. Beside me were the illegal logger and the dynamite fisher. The second example, at a distance looms the view of the immensely deforested mountain. So, as I observe, the sentences are inverted order. So that's why the verb still agrees with the subject, regardless of the number. So that would be all for the 24 rules of grammar. So, thank you.